Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, Barrick continues to lead the industry in replacing and growing reserves.
It's a company with a difference, and it's led by, Mark Bristow. I always refer to him as Dr. Mark Bristow because he's a doctor of geology. And because he's making a massive difference to the way you should approach mines. Now, a lot of the other mining companies tend to get their reserves and their resources via mergers and acquisitions. So they buy them up. But the price at which they buy them is sometimes quite huge. And they often have to buy them at a time when people can charge a lot. Now, what Barrick does is it continues to do geological work. And you can see in the last, not even 5 years, over the last 4 years, it's produced 111 million gold ounces equivalent at $10 an ounce. Now, the average being paid there is 44 times that. It's something like $440 an ounce. But you get instances where it is much higher. You've also got the situation where a CEO will come in when he's got reserves and resources, and he'll harvest that. And is that good? Because that's a very short-term thing. And then after he's done all that and given his shareholders happiness, he could move out and there's nothing left. What do you do after that? What about the other stakeholders? Now that's what Mark Bristow is always looking at, all the stakeholders, including the shareholders. These shareholders are getting dividends all the time. So he's got a plan that's a long-term plan with high visibility. So you can see what's going on, and you almost can see that the best has not come yet. There's more to come. And I think that this should be the model that people should follow. It's great that we can say, Mark Bristow is a South African, from KwaZulu-Natal, but he's a massive asset around the world now. And he has got geology in his blood. He's got a brother that's geologist, and I think there are others who are also geologically inclined in his family. So this is the way he approaches it, and I think it is the way that people must follow.
Now, logistics and shipping company DHL says coordinated action is needed to realize green hydrogen ambitions.
All the statements about green hydrogen in South Africa recently have come at government level. And I'm glad that there's more coming now at private sector level. And a company like DHL is looking at this and saying, we in logistics, you want to be in South Africa in green hydrogen. You've had a visit from the European Commission President who has encouraged you to go along this line. The EU is putting out an incentive of over 90 billion rand so that people who are coming into green hydrogen, which the European Union wants because it can drive its economy in a very clean way, it is there. So there's incentives. So we need to look at it. We've got the G20 in November. Hopefully this will come up very strongly because South Africa needs a growth path like this, and we might as well get onto the clean and green as fast as we can. So what DHL is saying, let's coordinate this because there's going to be a lot of logistics involved here, and you can start looking at us to maybe start collaborating with you in your plans. And that's a very important message to come through from the private sector.
And lastly, despite the impact of unprecedented wet weather, the revenue of DRDGOLD increased on strong gold pricing.
We're having strange weather patterns, and we have a situation that when you have bad weather like that, particularly when you are actually surface mining and you're using mine dump material, it can set you back very badly. But so good is that the gold price is at an exceptionally high level. So even when this took place, we have a gold price protecting it, which is so important for our shareholders. It's just so important for the industry, that it has some sort of consistency, and it's been saved by the gold price. I think the gold price is really important at the moment. If you start looking at the way it has increased, it is good. But a lot of people feel it should have been at that level a long time ago because they keep pointing to the volume of dollars that have been printed. When there was no real economic backing for it, people went in there and they just printed these dollars. So you have a runaway of printed notes that don't have a good backing. So that the more gold that can be produced now, the better to have global stability.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. To subscribe to Creamer Media's Engineering News in Mining Weekly, please email subscriptions@creamermedia.co.za.